Why on earth would anyone think blowing up a whale is a good idea? In 1970, the town of Florence, Oregon faced a massive problem. A dead whale had washed ashore, and no one knew what to do with it. And what's even worse, the whale was starting to smell worse, and the town needed a solution fast. But the solution they came up with led to a chain of events so crazy that it's still talked about today. On a chilly November morning, a massive 8-ton whale had washed ashore. Now 8 ton is roughly the same weight as 4 average cars combined, or a small private airplane. Or your mom. And while it might sound exciting to see such a giant creature up close, there was one big problem. It was dead. Fuck. Come on, do something. But the whale didn't do anything, except the thing is that dead whales don't just sit there quietly. As they decompose, gases build up inside their bodies, which creates a kind of ticking time bomb. So the town faced the tough question: what do you do with the giant rotting whale carcass? Come on, we are talking about Florence. The townspeople had lots of ideas about what to do with the whale. Some thought, let's nature take care of it. It was supposed to be swallowed up by the ocean sooner or later. Meanwhile others said, why don't we cut it up and bury it? But honestly, who wants to do that job? It smells so awful that no one even wanted to get close to it. So the decision ultimately fell to the Oregon State Highway Division, and they wanted to get rid of this thing quickly. And that's when the brilliant idea hit. Let's fucking blow it up with dynamite. Now blowing things up sounds exciting, doesn't it? The official in charge, George Thornton, even said, well, dynamite worked for clearing big rocks, why not use it for a whale? And of course, no one really asked if blowing up a whale had ever worked before, but it was an idea, and sometimes when you have no time to think, you just go with it. The plan. The plan was simple. If they use enough explosives, the whale would be blown into tiny pieces, which seagulls and other scavengers would then clean up. Or at least that's what they thought, but oh boy, how wrong they were. A local reporter later said, it was the most spectacular idea you could ever imagine for the worst possible reason. But despite the fact that the majority did not oppose it, some people still had doubts about the idea. One guy, who happened to be driving by, even stopped and tried to warn them. And I believe this guy was the only one who had some experience with explosives. And said, you guys even need a fewer explosive to push the whale out to sea, or significantly more to blow it up into tiny chewable whale nuggets. But George just smiled and shrugged.
Damn.
The team packed 20 cases of dynamite under the whale, aiming to send it flying in every direction. On November 12, the day when the explosion was set to happen, the beach was packed with people. They stood in a safe spot, except this guy, he wasn't in a safe spot. But the others laughing and joking about the crazy situation. And some of them even held their noses because the smell was impossible to ignore. And then the moment everyone had been waiting for arrived. The dynamite was detonated. It was so loud that it felt like the whole beach shook. The crowd went wide at first, cheering and clapping, like it was some kind of victory. But as the smoke cleared and dust settled, something strange happened. Instead of tiny pieces of whale flying away, huge heavy chunks of whale meat came down from the sky. It was like a strange kind of rain, except it wasn't water. One huge chunk landed on a brand new car, crushing it completely. And remember the guy who stopped and tried to warn them? Ironically, it was his car. The owner had just bought it that week, and now his car was gone, crushed by a whale blubber. Just imagine how funny was it to call the insurance company. So my car was crushed by a whale? What? Meanwhile in the chaos, everyone else ran for cover, sleeping in the greasy mess of whale fat, trying to escape the raining chunks. One man even thought that if he died, it would be one of the strangest deaths in history, which I can agree. But you will never guess what happened next. The plan didn't just fail, it made everything worse. Instead of one giant whale to clean up, there were now hundreds of smaller pieces all over the beach. But the highway department still had hope. They thought the seagulls would fly down and clean up the mess. But no, not even the birds wanted anything with it. They rather stayed far away, probably thinking, no way brother, I'm not getting near that shit. And the people? They were angry and disgusted, of course. I mean, I would be pissed off too if a 200-kilo piece of whale just smashed my car. But honestly, still some people couldn't help but laugh at how ridiculous everything had turned out. It was the kind of moment where if you didn't laugh, you might cry. And that was the point when people started to realize that maybe using dynamite wasn't such a great idea after all. This story became a kind of legend. People of Florence even created a park called Exploding Whale Memorial Park in honor of the legendary moment.